All right, so let's dive into this piece you sent over about Manus AI. And wow, this really does seem like a potential game changer. Autonomous AI agents doing it all, huh? What really jumped out at you initially?
Well, what Jörg-Owe is laying out here, it's pretty fascinating. I mean, Manus AI, this isn't just another AI tool. It's meant to be totally independent. Just think about that for a sec. You give it a task, and it can actually utilize like up to 50 different platforms to make it happen.
Okay, so it's like a digital assistant that can actually do the work, not just, take notes or set reminders. Schneppet gives the example of Manus AI being used for like business processes.
Yeah.
So imagine, it's not just sending emails, but it's actually negotiating like deals with suppliers, and it's analyzing the market and then giving you like the best options.
Yeah, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Schneppet also points out its potential for like data analysis. So instead of just giving you a bunch of numbers, Manus AI can actually find patterns and maybe even predict future trends and, suggest actual steps to take.
What really caught my eye was this replay function that Schneppet talks about. It's almost like a built-in audit trail. You can literally go back and see each step Manus AI took to get to a conclusion. Talk about transparency, right?
It's such a smart move for building trust, especially as AI becomes more and more a part of our lives, right? So you're not just blindly accepting a result, you can actually see the logic behind it. Imagine using Manus AI for, let's say, financial forecasting. Well, with the replay function, you could actually trace back every single calculation and every data point and see exactly how the AI got to those projections.
And Schneppet really drives home that whole transparency angle. He even goes so far as to say that Manus AI might make even the big players like OpenAI a little nervous. And I don't know about all that, but it definitely seems like Manus AI is trying to be a lot more than, just another chatbot.
Oh, absolutely. And Schneppet gives some concrete examples to back that up. One that really stood out to me was how Manus AI could like totally revolutionize human resources. Imagine a system that can look at resumes, for skills and experience and totally get rid of any human bias.
That's something that could have a huge impact, especially now as more companies are trying to be more diverse and inclusive in their hiring. It seems like Schneppet is saying that Manus AI isn't just about, efficiency, but actually using AI to fix some of the bigger problems that we face.
Yeah, exactly. And I know we're focusing on the good stuff here, and Schneppet does paint, kind of a rosy picture of what Manus AI could do, but he does say that there are some potential downsides that we should, think about and address. Maybe we can get into that a bit later.
Yeah, for sure. But for now, I'm curious to hear more about what Schneppet sees for the future of Manus AI. Like, what other industries or uses does he talk about?
Schneppet, he gets, pretty specific about how Manus AI could really shake things up in a bunch of sectors. One that he really digs into is like B2B supplier sourcing. So, imagine not having to spend hours and hours like researching vendors and comparing all those quotes. Manus AI could just take care of all that for you and find the best suppliers based on exactly what you need and how much you can spend.
Yeah, that would save so much time for businesses big and small. And Schneppet seems to think that education is another, like, really good area for Manus AI.
Oh, absolutely. He kind of paints this picture of, the future where Manus AI could create these, like, really personalized learning experiences. It would be tailored to each student and how they learn best. Like, it could look at their strengths and weaknesses and, see where they need extra help and even make custom learning materials.
It's almost like every student having their own, personal tutor. It would be a huge change from how we do things now, which is kind of, one size fits all.
Yeah.
It looks like Schneppet even mentions how Manus AI could, like, totally change the way we travel.
Oh, yeah. That was a really cool part. He talks about Manus AI making these, like, hyper-personalized travel plans. And I don't just mean booking flights and hotels. It would actually look at your interests, your budget, even, like, what you like to eat, and create a really unique trip. I mean, imagine that. No more spending hours on travel websites or trying to find that perfect hidden spot. Manus AI would do all that for you.
It sounds pretty amazing, but it also makes you wonder, if AI can handle all this complex stuff, what does that mean for jobs? Are we all going to end up being replaced by robots?
Schneppet actually addresses that. He doesn't shy away from it. He argues that Manus AI isn't about replacing us. It's more about making us better. It's about freeing us up from all the boring, repetitive tasks so we can focus on stuff that needs creativity and, critical thinking and things that really need that human touch.
So it's more like working together than, being taken over. I like that idea. But I do wonder about the practical stuff. Let's say you own a business and you want to use Manus AI. How do you actually, make it work with what you already do? Like, is there training involved or like support?
Schneppat doesn't really get into all those details. He's more focused on the big picture, what Manus AI could do. But it's a good question. I mean, like with any new tech, there's going to be a learning curve, both for businesses and the people who use it.
And, we can't forget about those downsides that we talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Schneppat does mention those, right? It's not all perfect with AI.
Right, exactly. Schneppat brings up some potential issues like, making sure data is kept private, dealing with any bias that might creep into algorithms, and, just making sure AI is used ethically and responsibly. It's a good reminder that even with all the good stuff, we have to be careful with how we develop and use AI.
It's definitely complicated with lots to think about. But let's stick with the good stuff for now. Schneppat seemed really excited about this, replay function, and I have to admit, it's pretty interesting. Do you think it could really change the way we interact with AI?
Yeah, it could be a real game changer. Think about it. You're not just getting an answer from the AI, but you actually get to see every step it took to get there.
Exactly. And Schneppat seems to think that this kind of transparency, it's going to be really important for people to actually trust AI systems.
Yeah.
If you can see exactly how Manus AI got to its conclusion, you're much more likely to trust it, especially when it comes to, making big decisions. It's almost like, you can see how the AI is thinking. And Schneppat even suggests that this whole replay thing could be a good way for us to learn too.
Oh, for sure. By watching how the AI makes decisions, we might be able to see our own biases, or things we just assume are true. It could even help us become better problem solvers. It's kind of like having a super smart mentor showing you the ropes.
That's a really cool idea. But let's step back for a second and talk about, the bigger picture. Schneppat doesn't just focus on the tech stuff. He also talks about how Manus AI could affect, society and the economy overall.
Yeah, he does. Schneppat predicts that as AI, like Manus AI, gets more common, we're going to see some big changes in, how we work and learn and even just how we interact with the world around us.
He talks about, things like everyone being more productive and the economy growing faster and even AI helping us solve some of the, really big problems in the world.
And while Schneppat is definitely optimistic about the future of AI, he's not naive. He knows there are going to be some risks and challenges that we have to deal with.
He doesn't shy away from the tough questions.
Mm-hmm.
What happens to jobs that are automated? How do we make sure AI is used ethically? How do we stop it from becoming, a tool for control or oppression?
These are all important questions, and Schneppat doesn't pretend to have all the answers, right? But he does say that we need to start thinking about this stuff now before AI is so ingrained in our lives that, it's too late to change course.
It's like he's saying, hey, let's get involved and make sure the future of AI is something that benefits everyone. I think that's a really important message, especially as we wrap up.
I agree. Schneppat has given us a lot to think about. Manus AI is definitely a powerful tool, and it could change our world in some really big ways, but it's up to us to make sure those changes are for the better. One thing that Schneppat didn't really touch on was the security aspect. Given how autonomous Manus AI is, and, it can access all these different platforms, what kind of safeguards do you think they have in place to prevent, hacking or people using it for bad stuff? Something to think about.
Definitely something to consider. As we wrap up this deep dive into Manus AI, I think the biggest takeaway is this AI isn't just science fiction anymore. It's here. It's real, and it's changing our world really fast. And while there are definitely challenges, the potential benefits are just, too big to ignore. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive. Until next time.